Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to Witchy Tarot and another week of decks. And I have to say, I am really having fun being back into the smaller selection of decks for the week. It's been really fun to play with, but it could also just be that I started it off with just a really fun selection of decks. So, where do I want to start? I have to be honest, so let's just recap. My tarots were Pagan Otherworlds and Antique Anatomy. Oh my gosh. Just blanked there. And then for oracles, I had Woodland Wardens, the Laurel Grove South Cemetery Elucidation deck, and then the Embroidered Graveyard, the new white edition. And I have to say, in all honesty, this one stole the absolute show this week. I didn't really want to use anything else besides this deck. It just has been so amazing. If you haven't seen it, I did do a walkthrough of this deck that I posted earlier this week. So I want to kind of find out what it means when people say, I'll put it up in the cards. And then they point this way. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means. I don't know how you do it. Maybe today's the day. We'll see. Anyhow, I did use Pagan Otherworlds maybe once or twice. Really loved it. Really like this for this time of year. This is a deck that I just know I don't use it super often, but when I do, I really enjoy it. It feels special. And along with that, Woodland Wardens worked really fantastically. Antique Anatomy, I think I took out once. Now this is my modded version, which is the only version I have, and I really love how it came out. And my interest with this deck really has been re-sparked because I've been going through and looking up what each of the flowers on these cards are and looking into the Victorian flower language meaning and writing those in my own guidebook, because I know it's kind of said that the flowers don't have rhyme or reason for being on these cards, but I don't believe it. I think there's reason behind them, and all of the ones I've looked up so far have made total sense to the cards. So that's been a really fun project, and so even though this is not going to be a deck next week, I do think I'm gonna keep it out to continue on that little side project. And I'm also considering getting a second copy of this deck so that I do have kind of a unmodified version as well as this one that I did modify for myself. We'll see, because I do really love using this one. You can pretty much only hand over hand shuffle it, which is totally fine, but I've been really enjoying that. Now, the combination that really just again stole the show this week was the Embroidered Graveyard with this Laurel Grove Elucidation deck. Is that light too bright? I think it is. Let's see. Can you see it better now? Oh yes. I mean, this has that, what do you call that? Foiled front to the book. So, box. Oh my gosh. I am coming off of watching my friend's daughter for the day. She's 7. She's so much fun, and we had such a good day. But my brain is a little tired. Anyway, so I got this deck in. I did pre-order it. I feel like probably just before the pre-order window closed. And so I got it in last weekend, right before I chose my decks for the week, so it was perfect timing, and I just have not wanted to use anything else, honestly. And this is not going to be a deck for this week, but I am going to still have it out, and if you see it in my daily polls, don't ask questions. No questions. Because it's just so good. It's so different and just reads so well for me. Stevie's sneaking her way in the room. You coming to say hi? You coming to say hi? Let's see, do you want to come up and say hi or no? I don't think you do. What? You want to say hi? Here she is. The queen herself. Alright, alright. I won't make her stay. Anyhow, so that is the Embroidered Graveyard Oracle, and I love it. It is like a favorite of the favorites. I don't know if I want to say quite a while. I feel like most of the decks I've been acquiring lately have just really fit the bill for me, but this is one of those ones where right off the bat I was like, we are connected. I don't want to read with anything else. Like, this is it, you know? It's been a long time since I feel like that's happened. And again, it paired really well with this Holly Audley deck. Just the colors really worked. Having the Embroidered Graveyard kind of be the big main cards and adding these as a layer to the reading, really, it worked super well and also just looked really cool. So I had a lot of fun with that. Anyhow, I think that's all I really have to say about my decks from last week, because again, it was these last two that I used for a majority of the week. Now, our decks for this coming week. I have, actually, most of these are newer to me decks, so that is very exciting. We'll start with the Oracles, because those are on top. We are going to do the Mystic Misfits again. I had this out 2 weeks ago, and I just really love it. It's such a good oracle to begin with, but the kind of black and white, except we get the orange with this one pumpkin card, but I feel like it goes with a lot of my tarot decks, and I've really been loving how it reads. And I just think these characters are so creepy and cute. You will see this again when I bring out my cute and creepy tarot. I just feel like they're meant to be together. So I'm really excited about that one. And, hi Divi. Next, I actually have 3 oracles this week. But this next one I tend to use more as like a added layer to the reading. And that is my new combined mini Divi from Holly Audley. So Holly Audley had the mini Divi Ghosts that came out with her teeny tiny tarot, but she just released an entire collection of mini Divis, each with their own category, and they are so much fun. And so I do have the set of them because I'm such a fan of her work. And what I did is I went through each of the decks and built my own little thicker mini Divi, and so they all have the same backs, which I think is so cool. And it was just a lot of fun to do that. And then I've got all the cards, actually right here, they come in this, or I got the boxed set. I have this box from the Teeny Tiny Tarot Kickstarter, but look at how cool. So they're all made to fit in here. It just looks so beautiful. So the extra cards I have in their boxes, and I figured every once in a while I could just go through the boxes and maybe add in some more cards, swap some in and out, just have fun with it. So these smaller oracle decks from Holly Audley, I really enjoy using as a, like I said, a final layer to the reading. So they might not necessarily be the main oracle deck. It might be that I'm using 2 oracle technically and then a tarot. And this is kind of a last pull. After I've looked at my whole reading and I feel like I need something a little bit more, I really like using her decks for that. But I will also use them as the main oracle. That's not to say I don't do that. And these new mini Divis are just so much fun. There's a Dreams deck, a Curiosities deck, Opposites, what else did I say? Say Dreams? Oh, I can't quite think of the others. Signs. And so I've got a little bit of each in this chunky little oracle deck, and I'm really excited to get to use it more. It also came with this. She made a little spread deck, which has been really, really good to use. I've been playing around with this a bunch. I don't have any other spread decks, and this one's been working really well. It's just a fun thing to play with, and I love this kind of peachy red color she really pulls on a lot. It's one of my favorite things. So that is the mini Divi. Hi! She's wanting attention. Yeah. Were you under a bed all day because a strange person was here? She tends to do that. Alright. See you later. So then last but not least for the oracles, we have the new Coastal Curiosities 2nd edition. It's here! This came in last week, and I'm so excited about it. If you have been watching my videos for a bit, you'll know that the 1st edition of the Coastal Curiosities is my favorite oracle deck. Like, hands down. It's so, what's the term? Universal doesn't feel like the word I'm looking for. But maybe it is? It's very, no, that's not the right word. Oh well, it'll come to me as soon as I stop recording this video. I can use a lot of different decks with that oracle. That's what I'm trying to say. There's just a word for that, and I'm not thinking of. And I just really love all of the images she layers into these collages. It's just beautiful. And so this 2nd edition has all of the same cards as the 1st, except I think one of the cards had a keyword change, and then we get added on a bunch of new cards. So I'm super excited about that. And this deck also didn't come with the Coastal Charms, which is kind of a separate system. This is one of the new cards. So cute. It was these extra cards you got with the 1st edition where if you wanted to, you could kind of layer them on top of these cards, which is a really cool idea. But I do, if I'm not mistaken, I think if the creator brings them back, they're gonna almost be like their own separate thing, which I think is a really cool idea. And so I was keeping them with my 1st edition deck just in case I ever wanted to use them, but I do like that in this box we just have the oracle, so I don't have to like kind of separate something out. It's not a big deal. It's just like when you know it's gonna be that one less step. I don't know. But I'm really happy to have this, and yeah, I just know this is probably the version I'm going to be using from now on. I'm still gonna keep my 1st edition around because I'm just so bonded to it, but again, just, you know, if I know I want to use those charms, I know I have them, but for the most part, I tend to just use the oracle, so it'll be a bit easier to just pull out this box and know that what's in here I'm going to use, and again, we have the extra cards that I love. The other cool thing about this new edition is for each card we have 2 pages in the guidebook now. So this is the oracle meaning, but over here we get a description of what all the pictures mean, basically. So if you're looking at this, there's a lot of symbols going on. And in the 1st edition, you could just kind of make sense of it for yourself, or whatever you saw in it works. But I really like that in this 2nd edition, we get the creator's thoughts behind it. Behind, like, why is there an owl sitting on the top of the chair and a wolf? Dog? Some kind of dog-like creature on the chair, you know what I mean. Like, what do these pictures mean? And so, that's really, really cool. Loving that, very excited about it. So that is my last oracle for the week. Tarots. To start, we have the Flora Tarot, which I have had for a few weeks now. And it's just one of those decks that I felt like we needed to let simmer. I need to get used to having it in my space, if that makes sense. It's very different for me, but I'm very excited about it. So this is a deck entirely of plants. Each of the tarot cards is related to a different flower or plant, and the guidebook is really in-depth and explains those correlations super, super well, and the artwork is just, it's so beautiful. I don't even know if it picks it up on camera super well, but there's so much like shading going on. I'm not usually, I say I'm not usually a like black and white deck kind of person. Meanwhile, I've got 2 this week, but I'm typically not. But when it's got kind of the shading and stuff behind it, it doesn't feel flat to me like some other black and white decks do. So I'm really, really excited to finally be using this one. I have pulled it out a few times, but again, it's just something that I felt like needed to acclimate itself almost for a bit. Does that make sense? Does anyone else have that happen sometimes? My light is about to fall off this table. Let's correct that before I end up with a loud crashing noise I forget to edit out, because of course. Okay. Good to go! Now, last but not least, well, okay, let's get this actually back into the, let's get this back in here before I start on another thing. This deck is also printed by that, Expert Playing Cards, who are the same people who print Pagan Otherworld and, Playful Heart, so it's that really good, in my opinion, cardstock, the linen cardstock. It can be slippery and the cards are a bit larger, but I really like it. Anyway, last but not least, we have Dame Darcy's Witchy Cat Tarot. We have to start bringing in the spooky, you know? I'm really starting to get into that autumn feel. We are officially in fall now, and I love my spooky decks, my Halloween decks, and so I wanted to kind of get my itchy nose, sorry, get my toes in these last 2 weeks, but then Saturday's October 1st, the reins are off. Anyway, I'm really excited about this one. This one came in just yesterday, and I haven't even gotten to look at it much because we've been a bit busy, but I just know I'm gonna love it. And listen, I know I said no more cat decks for me, but this one it's different. It doesn't have that cat energy to me because they are so anthropomorphized that, yes, they have cat heads, but it's like, these aren't cats, you know? Some of the cards have cats, but otherwise they're not cats. It's just weird. And I love Dame Darcy's artwork. I always have. I have her Mermaid Tarot. But me and that deck just have not really ever clicked. Probably because I'm not really an ocean person. I love mermaids, but I don't tend to work with that energy. And so the deck kind of tends to languish. I always say, like, oh, I'll bring it out in the summer, and I think it maybe came out once or twice this summer. Same for the summer before. And I just love her art style, so I was okay kind of keeping it around just because of that reason. But I hadn't tried any of her other decks. She has the Queen Alice, but I'm not a big Alice in Wonderland person. And so I finally I wanted to give this one a try. And I feel like already this is feeling like, yes, okay, this is the Dame Darcy deck I was meant to have. So I'm gonna give this, you know, a good go before I make any decisions about the Mermaid Tarot, but I could see myself, since I have this one, being able to let that one go. Finally. It's one of those, it's like I just kind of flip-flop on it, and I don't know. I mean, again, I'm alright keeping if it's just like there's something I like about it, that's fine. But I don't totally know that that's how I feel about it. I think it's just that I like her art style, and now I would still get to have it in this deck that it's just weird, and I love it, and I don't know, it's not necessarily Halloween per se, But it definitely has that spooky season feel, the cheesy kind of spooky season with these. I mean, look at these black cats on the back with their wands, and like the inside of this box. So cute! I cannot wait. I think these decks are gonna be really fun this week, and really fun all together. So, I think that is all I have to say for this week. Keep a lookout. I am planning on posting a walkthrough of this second edition of the Coastal Curiosities once I film that, probably tomorrow. And other than that, I hope you're all having a wonderful end to your weekend and are ready to have a great week ahead.